today we are going to consider those skills that will get us to earn a higher income in Kenya. And we appreciate that Kenya is a very competitive country that respects paper qualifications. So it is important to have those paper qualifications. But there will be so many people who are as qualified as you are. So how do you become more competitive so that you can earn a higher income? Academic qualifications are fine, but I think you need more. There are many others who hold similar qualifications, if not better. So when we talk about a competitive country, we're saying it is unlikely that you're the only one who's got that. And that is why skills in applying that knowledge and dealing with people are now the differentiator. And here are the 6 skills that every professional should have so that they can excel in their career and they can be worth, if not more. And it doesn't matter whether you are an employee or you're self-employed or you're running your own business. These 6 skills are very critical. Number 1, communication skills. When we are looking at communication, we are looking at abilities you use when you are giving or receiving different kinds of information. While these skills may be part of your regular day-to-day work, communication in a clear, effective, and efficient way is an extremely critical and useful skill that you can actually be clear, you can be effective, and you can be efficient. And learning from great communicators around you and actively practicing ways to improve your communication over time can certainly support your efforts to achieve various personal and professional goals. So you learn from the good communicators, because communication skills involve a number of things. And some of the things that are involved in communication skills are things like listening. And we say active listening, not just listening. We're looking at how you speak. It can be the tone of voice, it can be the intonation, it can be how fast or slow you speak. Observing is a communication skill. Like you can actually be able to look at body language. So you're observing. And empathizing, being reflective of what the other person is doing. It is also helpful to understand the difference in how to communicate through face-to-face interactions. When you meet people face-to-face, all those things that you do that tell people you're listening, you're nodding your head, you're expressing yourself. There are communication skills when you're on the phone. You can tell whether somebody is listening to you or they're watching TV, and that becomes important, because there's a lot of people who say, I'm listening to you, but in essence, all they're waiting is for you to stop talking so that they can actually tell you what they have to tell you. That's not communication. And now we have digital communication. There's a lot of it, whether we're looking at social media, we're looking at emails, teleconferencing. All those are spaces where communication becomes very critical. So you can see how diverse the communication space is. And so when we are looking at communication, there are different types of communication. And we're going to see there's what we call verbal communication. This is where now we're speaking and we are using words, okay? And here is where we need to be confident. We have a confident speaking voice, because the voice is very, very important. Some of us swallow words, Some of us have the privilege that we stayed in the village a bit longer. We have mother tongue interference. All those things, they are very, very important. When we're doing verbal, we actually need to avoid filter words. The people who say, Nini, when you are a speaker, that gets very annoying. Also avoiding industry jargon. There are people in their own industry and they speak to everybody like we belong to that industry. The more jargon you speak, the more people go away from you. The more you disorient them. In fact, communication says you need to make it simple. You need to make it easier for people to understand you. And that's the verbal side of it. It's a big area, so we cannot be able to deal with it in a short while. But on the other side, we have non-verbal. How your emotions feel physically. Somebody is speaking to you and you're making faces. And so we should be very intentional. We should be able to read body language. We need to understand what people are saying, because that's the non-verbal, the one that communicates. Then we have the visual, the things that we see. If you are a presenter, what visual are you using? You see people who use things like slides. So we're looking at the visual side, and we should make it easier, make it clear for everybody to understand. On the other side, we have written communication, and this is the hallmark of simplicity. Not how bombastic the words look like, not how technical you sound. We need to take time to review our written communication. So we should keep it simple. When you're writing, we should make it something enjoyable for the other person to be able to do. Because when we have good communication, if you're a leader, you're going to boost your staff morale, the people you work with. You actually make people more engaged, You increase productivity and you increase satisfaction. And so this the skill makes you have a better team, you have more collaboration, cooperation, you're more cooperative. Now, if you're a doctor and your patients can feel you, if you're a teacher and your students can feel you, is there a chance that you can actually be able to do better and make more money? So effective workplace communications helps to drive better results for individuals, for teams, and organizations. So it's a very important area to focus on so that then we are able to build those skills. Just before we leave it, we might want to say, so how do I improve my communication skills? There are people who are gifted in speech. When they speak, it is entertaining. You know, they are almost poetic. There are people who are not. And that's why sometimes we have to learn. So one of the ways of improving our communication skills, we observe good communicators around us. If you have somebody who is good, you identify an individual who consistently communicate ideas and information clearly, with respect, with empathy, and with confidence. And if you look at good communicators, you observe and you take notes on the specific ways they communicate with others. And nowadays I like YouTube because YouTube can help you in these things. You can actually go and look at people, and we all know somebody who is good in communication. The other thing we can do, I can ask a close friend or a colleague to critique or give me feedback. So I'll ask a trusted friend to give me honest feedback, because understanding your areas of improvement for communication can help you identify what to focus on. Maybe the challenge is, yes, I had a very good way of presenting, but the points never came through. The message never came through. I did not have a call to action, so people don't know what they're supposed to do with that information. Now, the other one is practice improving communication habits. By practicing new habits that you make you a better communicator. I may not have been used to writing, or I might not be very good in the spoken word. So we might want to remind ourselves of basic things that we need to do. Eye contact. When you're speaking to people, do you want to look away or do you want to look at where they are? You know, practicing giving feedback. When people ask a question, you know, you're the kind of person who says, thank you for your question. You're not getting agitated even if the question didn't look very great, you know. Asking questions to the audience and getting audience a response, that becomes important. So we can practice and improve our communication skills. We can actually attend communication skills workshops or classes. You can get them online, you can get them offline. There are seminars, there are workshops, there are classes that can help you become a better communicator. Here in Nairobi, we have groups like Toastmasters. And Toastmasters just train people how to speak. And these classes will give you instruction, they give you a chance for role play, they can give you written assignments or open discussions. The other thing is actually seek opportunities to communicate, you know. And this is one of the best ones. We have to look for opportunities. So you seek for opportunities both on the job and off the job that will require you to use communication skills. This will help you to keep good skills. You run fresh ones. And sometimes we say, look for safe spaces. When there's a family gathering, you know, even if I shrub, my cousins will not be a big problem for me. They will understand me. They will give me a chance. All those opportunities to speak build you over time. And if you get these good skills, if you are a good communicator, I'll tell you, the doctor who is a better communicator, they will get more patients coming in. The teacher who is a better communicator, are likely to get the promotion. If you're in your workplace, you're a better communicator, you're likely to get that promotion. Those things come with more money.
Mr. Wahome, number 2?
Leadership skills. And these are the qualities individual influential roles possess so that they're able to direct and complete tasks. You know, they have to support initiatives. They have to create a sense of unity within a team and empower others. And if you actually think about who leaders are, if I'm a parent, I'm a leader. If I'm a supervisor at work, I'm a leader. So leadership is across the board. And almost everybody is a leader in some perspective. And so we are looking at skills that include the ability or strengths shown by people in management roles that aid in guiding and encouraging a group of people and their team towards achieving a common goal or a set objective. Because you're leading people to be able to do something. You empower them, you inspire them, you show them the bigger vision, and now you direct them to what they need to be able to do. So we are looking at achieving a set of goals. And these skill sets are quite a number, because communication is one of the skills, and we have talked about communication. You know, this negotiation, because a lot of times when you're leading people, there are many things you're going to negotiate. This conflict resolution, there's going to be a lot of conflict in groups. And if you have to lead people, if you don't solve conflicts, it doesn't go anywhere. There are decision-making skills that you need, because you have to be a decision maker. And as you make the decision, sometimes you are democratic, dogmatic, sometimes you are autocratic, all those things, and they are minimal. So we have talked about communication, and we said when you work in a leadership position, you must be able to clearly explain everything from expectations to goals and tasks. It must be very clear what you want people to do, because it is important to establish open communication between yourself and your team members. Open as you get feedback, you give feedback, people are free to come to you. Not only does creating an environment of open communication promote cohesiveness as a team, but it often encourages an atmosphere of transparency, and people want to live in a place where they can actually be sure where things are going. Excellent communication considers not only what is being communicated, but how it is communicated. There are sometimes you have sad news to deliver, but how do you deliver the sad news as a leader? There are sometimes when somebody has not done something right in the group, and you actually don't get into the point of fighting or conflicting with them, you take them away from the group. As an effective communicator, you do more than just verbalize your expectation, not just what you say. You also incorporate active listening. You're listening to other people. One of the leadership skills is about negotiation. And negotiation involves two or more parties engaging in a conversation to find a solution. We are finding a solution that is acceptable to all parties. When you're negotiating, there's something at play, and we're looking at what works best for all of us. Like we are negotiating a contract and we get into a formal agreement, or sometimes a less than formal agreement. You have met the askari, you want to park in a slot, and he has a reason why you don't have to park there, and you want to negotiate because maybe you're short of time and you want to park there. It's not formal, it's not a contract, but it is something that you have to get through. When used as a leadership skill, negotiation can foster a sense of fairness, and people want to feel that you're fair, and equality, because you're able to help people see equality. Allowing all parties to be heard. If you're looking at employees or co-workers, they'll be more likely to feel understood when conflicts are handled in negotiation. When there is conflict, you don't just rule on one side. You get everybody to say their part. You get to hear. You get these people to see what's the issue on the other side, and that's what negotiation is all about. Effective negotiation involves understanding the interest of all the involved parties and working to reach a solution that satisfies each one of them. Yes, you have your position, I have my position, but if you're a negotiator, we want to help people to be able to get there. So if you're a leader, this is one of the things you will have to do all the time. There will be things that you do not directly come into, but you have to help in the negotiation. So that's one of the leadership skills that we actually need to build. The other leadership skill we need to build is conflict resolution, because compelling leaders understand how to avoid disputes, and they have ability to resolve them quickly when they arise. Because if there are conflicts in the team and you're not resolving conflicts, whether they're in the family, whether they're in a church group, whether they're in the community, whether they are at the workplace, it actually festers and things don't work well. Ideally, as a good leader, you should be able to maintain your composure and make thoughtful decisions when handling disagreements. You should not be showing your side, even if you totally don't agree with what I'm saying. It might look bad what I'm saying, but you should not show that you're on one side and not the other. You should be actually somewhere in between. So conflict resolution is one of the skills that we need to build in leadership. There are training programs in conflict resolution. It's a whole discipline. There are people even at the international level. That's work they do all the time. They are peacemakers. They are negotiating peace for countries. But even for those of us who are not in that kind of space, whichever little space we have, we need to have conflict resolution skills. Because if you don't have those skills, then you will have a problem. Now, the other skill is adaptability. When we are looking at adaptability, we are saying things will change. You have to be an adaptable leader. You adjust your behavior in response to the situational changes. You are resilient when things don't go your way, and you're expected to recover very quickly when there are setbacks. You sometimes leading to where you don't even clearly see, but you must retain your composure in there. Adaptability involves being flexible, adjusting to changing conditions and environments. We say change is a constant. If you're rigid and you're not moving, then you're not a good leader. If you're not a good leader, what's the chance of getting a promotion? What is the chance of rising in your profession? It's not very high. The other leadership skill is critical thinking. In fact, I think in CBC, this is one of the things we want to build in our children. This is your ability to analyze information so that you fully comprehend an issue or topic you are dealing with. So you are able to get deep in there. You comprehend the issue or the topic so that you look at what are the steps of this critical thinking. And actually the steps involving you gather the facts, you pose and deliberate all the queries, you examine potential answers, alternatives. For instance, if you are a HR and you're settling a dispute between two co-workers, when you're using critical thinking skills, you actually have to determine what's what's the nature of the conflict? What are they conflicting about? What are the appropriate actions? What are the alternatives? How can we solve this dispute and get them to move to the next level? So it means you are able to look at a situation, not just part of the information. You gather all the data, you actually analyze the data, you look at all the options, and you see the consequences of all the options, then you take the best way out of that. And so critical thinking becomes one of the things you will have to do in management, because as you can see, in management you'll be dealing with a lot of issues that require you to be dealing with a lot of data, to analyze a lot of data. In leadership, decision making is very, very important. You know, effective leaders make decisions that benefit themselves, they benefit the team members, they benefit their clients or the organizations. It's not one person. The decision you make has to benefit everybody around that decision. And so that's why we use critical thinking skills in decision making. That means you're analyzing all the data, you're looking at all the positions, and you're making the best possible solution. So you identify the problems, you develop solutions that are advantageous to yourself, to the business. So decision making by leaders must always be fair and objective. And so that's why you have to evolve appropriate language when you're communicating, you're looking at all the facts. You cannot be a leader if you're indecisive. You know, people want direction and you're not showing direction. It doesn't matter how challenging the situations are. In fact, we say you'd rather make a bad decision than fail to make a decision. Let's deal with the consequences, but you must make a decision. But you're not just making decisions quickly. You are actually very balanced in the things that you're looking. So you can actually see leadership is not one thing, it's a lot of things. But if you're a leader, we must admit that we pay the leaders better. And if we are looking to earn more money, then we must work to become leaders. We talked about problem solving. When you're a leader, your business is not to create problems. In fact, your business is to solve problems all the time. So if you're an effective problem solver, then you have the ability to foresee issues in the workplace, issues in the profession. You define the problem, you identify the causes, you develop plans for remedy, and then you learn from the problem so that you avoid it in the future. That you can actually be able to define the problem. What is the problem? People are not coming to work on time, they're getting late. What's the problem? Okay? We are identifying the causes. What's causing it? You develop a plan so that we can actually be able to see all these things. When you're able to look at those things, I think then you can actually see you have an opportunity to move up. As you move up, you will get more money following you up there.
That is it. Mr. Wahome, sadly your time is up. We've just tackled two, and we will see how we can organize so that we can conclude the remaining ones.
We have a chance to continue with this, but we want to give people a chance so that they can also build another skill. This is managing your own finances. You're very welcome for a discussion. 0708 150 137. Somebody will give you the instructions of how to be able to do it.